And unleashing American energy is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. Lee, did you realize when you took the job the amount of responsibility that was on your shoulders?
Yes, I knew that we were inheriting a very big mess from decisions that were made, especially in 2023 and 2024, where you had a policy decision to strangulate out of existence entire sectors of our energy economy, some of which you just referenced. And we have to make sure that we're not just fixing the mess, but we're doing it at the same time, all at once, straight out of the gate. And there's no pacing ourselves. We have a lot of catching up to do. And what it amounts to in 1 year is more deregulation than entire federal governments across all agencies, across entire presidencies, just at the EPA.
The AI is demanding you do something else. You want to loosen regulations, get the price of oil and gas down. I got it. It's going to help people every day. I understand it. But if AI is going to be the future, it needs a massive amount of power. What responsibility is on your shoulders for that?
We have to unleash energy dominance in this country. President Trump created the National Energy Dominance Council, led by Chair Doug Burgum, you just referenced, the Vice Chair Chris Wright. I've been involved in that, Howard Lutnick and others. We meet often with the president, and it's important that we're not all siloed off, just working on our own agencies, equities, and jurisdiction, that we're working together to move quickly. Right. EPA is able to help with permitting, to get permits done fast, to help with cooperative federalism, working closely with states and local municipalities, and siting. Sometimes these locations with the data centers and otherwise, the plants will go on former brownfields, Superfund sites. So there's a lot that the EPA can do to help. Right. Obviously, the regulations that we inherited are a big part of it. And for us here in the United States, we have to view ramping up baseload power as something that's not just good for our economy and our national security. It's also better for our environment because we do it so much better than so many other countries around the world.
So you also thought the best thing to do would be to shelve some of these wind programs. Why does it work for some and not the others? And what about even some of the programs that are 80% done? Why does it work in our best interest to shelve them?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of movement on offshore wind, especially, and these projects off the coast. I'm a New Yorker, as you well know, Brian. The economics of these projects, the inefficiencies of these projects, especially when it's viewed as a substitute for baseload power. It's not a substitute. It's an intermittent source of energy, and what you're able to get out of it is less reliable, and it's more costly, and we have to make sure that we are ramping up all these baseload powers. Now, in New York, they won't allow the extraction of natural gas. They're not approving new pipelines. They won't allow the gas hookups to new construction. They're trying to get rid of the sale of gas-powered vehicles. And they've set these climate goals that the people in Albany setting the goals know that they will not hit. But in order to try to hit those goals, they'll cause a lot of economic pain on people who can afford the economic pain the least. So we can't go along with this narrative that we go all in on these offshore wind projects and we forego the reality of massively ramping up baseload power with opportunities that are abundant all across America.
We'll also get nuclear power going, and it's never been easier to get nuclear power going. I guess you got the miniature sets. What I think is maddening for you is that in a lot of these blue states, they don't even want a pipeline to come through the state, let alone decisions they made in New York not to punch holes for natural gas, frack. At the same time, Pennsylvania is prospering because they did. How do you convince these people to get out of their ideology for the good of the country?
I think the people of the state, the voters, they need to speak up passionately and demand this level of action. For those governors in those New England states, some have been speaking up. I was just in New Hampshire where Governor Ayotte was speaking out about the need for more natural gas. Instead of relying on foreign sources of energy and forcing your own people to pay more for energy, get outspoken, maybe get uncomfortable, because maybe it's even a governor of your own party. In this case, natural gas moving from Pennsylvania into New England, Constitution Pipeline is the project that is on the table to be able to get that done. done, that is so much better than doing nothing. But I would say as a New Yorker that New York shouldn't just have a pipeline that's passing through the state.
I know.
New York should be tapping into the natural gas that's right here in New York.
Right. You got Cuomo shelving nuclear power with nothing to replace it. And then you see how upstate is suffering because they won't frack, even though the environmental study showed it would not hurt it. Something else is happening. Look down in New Jersey. Not only are their taxes through the roof, but so are their utility costs. And they were state independent energy providers. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, these policies that are coming out from the state level are not fully embracing all of these opportunities for more baseload power. And you have a lot of people who are elected officials who are afraid of their shadow on the left. And instead of being led by those people, you're the elected official. You should be leading your own base. And maybe you have to work harder to explain yourself as to why you're taking policies that might be associated with the middle or the right of this country, but you do it for your people. There's no reason for us to be sitting on the sidelines anywhere in America, especially in these blue states, not allowing your people to be able to tap into more consumer choice, lower energy costs, more freedom, and a better economy so that people don't have to flee states like New York and New Jersey for elsewhere where their money goes further. Instead, they can stay in a place that's always been their home and they love and they could thrive. But unfortunately, politicians are denying them of that, and it's wrong.
It is wrong. If you live paycheck to paycheck and your utility bill doubles, somebody's not getting paid every single month, and it's unnecessary. Real quick, gas is at a 5-year low. That's good. But if we're going to actually force Russia to stop this war in Ukraine, we got to drive the price per barrel down. What's your role in doing that? And can you get Saudi Arabia and other behemoths like us to join us?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on the permitting front, when there is a project that requires an approval from the EPA, instead of us gumming up the works and slowing it down, we're doing what we can to be able to speed it up. One of the proposals that we announced a few months ago is on a regulation called Quad OBC. That's something that was advocated for by people, by companies that want to invest more in exactly this right here in the United States. And then we also have to be outspoken and speaking up against and acting against any of these blue states that are trying to shut down access to these pipelines. Even the left admits that pipelines are a much safer way of transporting all these different forms of energy power than instead of putting them on truck or train. If it's better for the environment, then maybe we should be building more pipelines right now as opposed to stopping it because you're, again, afraid of your shadow to the left.
One of President Trump's most effective staffers, EPA Director Lee Zeldin, thanks so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.